evening, Chicago. This is your evening news on ABC7. I'm your anchor, Wyatt Fuller, along with our wonderful crew. Tonight we have an in-depth summary of what might be one of the greatest things to happen to our city. Something that will officially put Chicago on the map as a major city in this country and furthermore in this world. Chicago has been honored with the opportunity to host the 400th anniversary of when the great Christopher Columbus landed in this new world. And in doing so, he opened the gateway of opportunity for all. Opportunity for a new great nation, and opportunity for all the migrants who would follow him. Tonight we have a special on the world's Columbian Exposition of 1893, also known as the Chicago World's Fair. Tonight we have a surplus of coverage with our field reporter, Alex Milligan, at the fair, an interview with Daniel Burnham, the architect of the exposition, and an editorial piece with Shazer taking us through the novel The Devil in the White City. We have a great show planned for you tonight, so stay tuned. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Who are you?
I'm here to change your life forever.
How?
Are you tired of washing all those dishes, spending hours of your time? Come here, let me show you. Look at this. Put your dishes in, clean it, you're all set to go.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Saves you countless hours. Come down to the Chicago World's Fair and buy one for yourself. And we're back with your evening news here from the ABC7 studios. Wyatt Fuller here, and now we will be going to the Chicago World's Fair to see what it's like at the scene of this wonderful event. Alex?
Today I am attending the Columbian Exposition in celebration of the 400th anniversary of Columbus's arrival at the Americas, along with 26 million people who attended during its 6-month run. Here, about 70,000 individual exhibitors are displaying their creations to show the technological progress that was made since its discovery. Of these exhibitors, 21,000 of them have won an award. Grounds themselves consist of over 200 buildings designed by Daniel H. Burnham, and his team of architects consisting of Henry Ives Cobb, Richard Morris Hunt, Charles McKim, George B. Post, Louis Sullivan, and Sophie Hayden. The buildings have a neoclassical design and are meant to be taken down after the fair's closing. While at first there was some protest from the other architects about Burnham's choice and design, I think everybody will agree that the final outcome turned out all right. Each building has its own theme and houses exhibits with a matching theme. The fair also has an amusement section developed by Saul Bloom, located on Merway Plaisance, and is completely separate from the exhibition halls. One of the main attractions is the Ferris wheel. As you can see, we can't really get close to it, but it looks great. It was created by George Ferris, and it stands 264 feet tall and has 36 cars which can hold 60 people, and has been the inspiration for many future amusement parks. There is also an exhibit consisting of real-life recreations of the Niña, Pinta, and Santa Maria, which were sailed to the U.S. from Spain. The first commercial movie theater also debuted here in the Zoopraxographical Hall, as Edward Muybridge gave a series of lectures about the science of animal locomotion using moving pictures. A new type of dance was also introduced to America in the Street of Cairo area, and the first moving walkway known as the Travelator was also introduced to the public. Some of the exhibits include the John Bull, which was built in 1831 and is the oldest surviving steam locomotive. A Baldwin 242 was also showcased. Thomas Edison's kinetoscope and the dishwasher also made their debut. No more hard work for those housewives. Now back to you, Wyatt.
And what an atmosphere it is down there. A truly amazing sight. I advise each and every one of our viewers to go downtown this weekend and check out this truly amazing sight. Along with the amazing World's Fair going on, our city has been blessed to have an entirely new campaign to truly maximize the beauty of our city. Our city is magnificent, from the beautiful Chicago River running straight through downtown to the gorgeous skyline from the banks of Lake Michigan. This truly is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Now to improve on that even more, the city has hired Frederick Law Olmsted to run a City Beautiful campaign to improve the city's sights. His goal is to bind us more with our natural side, so we don't get too caught up with an industrial-only mindset when we are exposed to the urban lifestyle for far too long. This is the same man who designed Central Park in New York City, a way for New Yorkers to escape the urban lifestyle for only a short time. He has planned to add sanctuaries with spacious areas and trees to allow us to escape to the natural world. Transitioning from the architecture of the city itself, we will now look at the architecture of the Great White City, otherwise known as our Columbian Exposition. Olmsted also laid out the ground and created a system of lagoons around which over 40,000 skilled laborers constructed the fair's buildings. Now we will go to an exclusive interview with our reporter, Lila Laughlin, who was able to conduct an interview with Daniel Burnham, the head architect of the Great
Hello,
White City.
Daniel. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. It's our pleasure. So, Daniel, today we're here to talk about you in the Columbian Exposition. First, Daniel, tell me about your childhood and how you grew up.
Well, I was born in Henderson, New York in 1846. When I was young, I moved to Chicago with my parents and 6 siblings in 1855. I attended a few public schools in Chicago until my parents sent me to a college preparatory school in New England, where my passion for architecture started. I wasn't accepted into Harvard or Yale, so I returned home in 1867.
At this time, what were you planning on studying in school?
Well, in the beginning of my life, I started by studying politics out west for a little while. That attempt at being a politician obviously failed, and I returned back to Chicago.
And what were you planning on doing then?
When I returned home to Chicago, I began an apprentice for the agricultural office in Jenny and Loring, who was established by William Lee Barnum Jenny, who was one of the most influential architects.
Oh, really? And how did that turn out?
Well, that apprenticeship didn't last too long, and I ended up moving to Nevada to attempt at silver mining.
Did that turn out well?
Well, no. I moved back to Chicago in 1872, and I became a draftsman for Drake and White from the film of Carter. White became a significant figure in my life and began helping me develop my drawing skills.
And did you meet anyone else there that impacted you?
Yes, I did. I befriended a man named John Welborn Root, who was the head draftsman for the Carter, Drake, and White.
And something great became of that friendship, right?
Correct. After the Chicago fire in 1871, the city called for any architects who could help. And in 1873, Root and I decided that we wanted to start our own firm.
How did that partnership work out between the two of you?
Oh, it worked out great. We went on to design some outstanding buildings. Some of those included the Montauk Block, the Rookery, the Monadnock Building, and Masonic Temple. During our 18-year partnership, we built 300 structures of all different types that ranged from railroad stations to churches.
It seems like you and Root got along very well. And during this time, when did the Columbian Exposition fit in?
Because of our superior work, Root and I were elected as consulting architects, and Frederick Law Olmsted was the consulting landscape architect for the fair. He suggested Jackson Park as the location of the fair. He believed that to be the background of Lake Michigan would serve as an inspiration for the rest of the park. We selected some of the nation's best architects to design the fair's building.
Oh, interesting. And how did that all work out?
Well, unfortunately, Root passed away suddenly in 1891. Even though I spent great time mourning over the loss of my friend, I still had to focus on planning the fair since I was the head of construction. After that, I then had to take over the responsibility of creating 115 buildings over 600 acres of land. I became the director of works at the World's Columbian Exposition in 1893.
That seems like a lot of work for just one man.
Well, yes it was, but I had a lot of assistance from many people. I worked very closely with Olmsted and the rest of the World's Fair architects we hired. Many artists and very talented sculptors. Over 40,000 laborers helped in this process. After lots of hard work, these men and I managed to turn the lakefront into a white city.
Can you describe the White City and what was so special about it?
We decided we wanted to make use of the land that we were given, that we were located right next to Lake Michigan. Olmsted created a system of waterways and lagoons that connected to the lake. By doing so, he created ways of travel, used the pools for decorations, and placed for tourists to relax from the hot weather in the summers. We also created many trees and shrubs for the more natural.
Oh, cool. So I heard you let people into the fair while construction was happening. Is that true?
Yes, the interest in the construction of our fair was high, and because of that, I allowed the spectators to come and observe the process. I charged 25 cents for entry, and it turns out there were over 3,000 visitors a week. The money from these visitors began to build up and it went to good use. The entire fairgrounds was 633 acres that included 75 million board feet of lumber, 18,000 tons of iron and steel, 120,000 incandescent light bulbs, 30,000 staff members, and 14 main buildings. And because there was so much, I had to push the opening day from the end of 1892 to May of 1893.
Well, it looks like you've had a lot of success. Thank you for being here today.
No
That was
problem.
great insight on the mind of a truly great man who was behind this wonderful event. Now, another word from our sponsors. But first, a quick fun fact for you. Over 50,000 objects on display at the fair became a part of the anthropology collections at the Field Columbian Museum, later renamed the Field Museum. The founding collections of the museum came mainly from 3 of the fair's main buildings: the Anthropology Building, the Horticultural Building, and the Mines, Mineralogy, and Metallurgy Building, as well as from the cultural villages displayed on the fairgrounds and Midway.
Hey honey, what are you planning on doing today?
This.
Can we please go to the World Fair today? It looks amazing. There's so much to do and so much to see.
You're kidding, right?
No, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take part in the 400th anniversary of the great Christopher Columbus. When will you have another chance to go to something like this?
Lila, please. I'm trying to read about interior design. You're being ridiculous. It sounds like such a tourist trap.
It's not. It's the very first Ferris wheel.
What the heck's a Ferris wheel? You're crazy.
It's amazing. You get in a cart and they take you over 1,000 feet in the air. And that's not all. They have amazing architecture. They built tons of beautiful buildings just for this fair.
Wow. Buildings. Nice.
And Buffalo Bill Cody is there. You know how much I love him. Please, let's go. It'll be so much fun. There is so much to do and there's even stuff you might be interested in, such as brand new guns and artillery. A moving walkway, you just stand on the platform and it moves you forward. How cool is that?
I guess that is kind of cool. Maybe it would be interesting.
And I haven't even mentioned the life-size replicas of Christopher Columbus's 3 ships, the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria. It looks truly amazing in the catalogs, and it's my dream to see all this in person. Please, let's go experience this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Okay, we can go. But it has to be pretty expensive, right? Come on.
No, it's only 50 cents for admission. How awesome is that?
50 cents? You're kidding, right? Let's go and see. Everyone should go to this amazing event. Come on.
Come on.
We're back with more coverage of the Chicago World's Fair. Now, another big aspect of the Chicago World's Fair is the danger that comes with a gathering of this many people. Eric Larson seems to have captivated that danger in his thrilling horror novel, The Devil in the White City. This novel seems to capture one's fears of the absolute worst that can happen. He drives fear into the hearts of his readers as he tells the story of a serial killer who lives and thrives in the World's Fair, aka the White City. The authorities don't seem to know exactly what's going on as they try to find this mass murderer. Here's our very own Shazer with his own opinion on this novel in his editorial.
Shazer is here, talking about The Devil in the White City. The Devil in the White City is a rare piece of nonfiction literature written by Eric Larson in which the reader actually maintains a vested interest in the plot. The novel discusses the events of the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. The novel is intentionally non-linear, a choice which I applaud, and is split into 4 parts. The majority of the novel takes place in Chicago before the actual World's Fair, a lot of it around the story of Daniel Burnham, architect at the World's Fair. I know, it sounds boring. However, as the novel walks us through the story of Daniel Burnham, it simultaneously walks us through the story of H.H. Holmes, who purchases a building and fills it with elaborate constructions, devices, and prisons for his practice of killing people and disposing of their bodies. I found Holmes' story more fun, probably because of the dark hole that I have inside of a soul, but it is most definitely interesting. Over the course of the novel, Holmes converts his building into the World's Fair Hotel, becomes involved with many women, marrying, killing, and cheating them, and is eventually caught for insurance fraud in Philadelphia, which is fairly anticlimactic. While Holmes' storyline is more interesting than that of Burnham's, Larson manages to make Burnham's story engaging through the way he tells and how he ties the 2 plot lines together. Larson, despite his non-fiction point of view, gives us a story that very well explains the Gilded Age of America. He describes the story of Daniel Burnham, a hard-working architect who makes it big by winning the honor of building the Chicago World's Fair, and he faces many difficulties along the way, even losing his partner, John Root, through his journey. However, this rags to riches, very Carnegie Gospel of the Wealth story is paralleled by the story of H.H. Holmes, a murderer who hides the macabre and wonderfully grotesque truth under a guise of being a pharmacist. The 2 reveal the truth about the Gilded Age. While they brought progression and innovation, it had a very corrupt and dark core, hence the title Gilded, coded and ornate, but inside cheap and fake.
Thank you, Shazer, with that wonderful insight on that creepy but intriguing novel. Now, as our show comes to a close, I would like to leave you all with a few interesting facts about this amazing event that will shape our city for years to come. First off, several products introduced at this fair are still popular today, including shredded wheat, diet carbonated soda, Aunt Jemima's syrup and pancake mix, and Chicago's own Wrigley's Juicy Fruit gum. Second, the White City is said to have inspired author L. Frank Baum to create the Emerald City in his book, The Wizard of Oz. And lastly, visitors came from all over the world. A ticket to the fair only cost 50 cents, 25 cents for children under 12, and the admission was free for children 6 and under. I would like to thank you all for watching this special edition of Your Evening News. Along with our entire crew at ABC7, I'd like to thank you for watching. And lastly, as the great Rob Burgundy would say, stay classy, Chicago.